the Jericho Network on Westwood One. All right, welcome to Talk is Jericho, episode 180. Oh my goodness, 180 episodes. Thank you for joining us, and thanks to the Insane Clown Posse for joining us today. Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J not only are one of the biggest rap groups of our generation, they also have their own wrestling promotion, Juggalo Championship Wrestling. They've had runs in the WWE, in WCW, in TNA. They've taken bumps. They've worked matches. They built their own ring in their backyard when they were 9 years old. They've been taking bumps ever since. It's also about the same time they started making music and rapping, and man, they have got some amazing stories about both. They're just like me. They play music and they wrestle. WWE locker room stories involving The Undertaker. WCW stories about Eric Bischoff and doing a moonsault. And wait until you hear who turned up for ICP's own Legends promotion. We're talking about the Juggalos, the Gathering, how pro wrestling is factored into the Detroit rap music scene and really inspired ICP's whole music career. The JCW wrestling promotion still going strong, even though Shaggy and Jay don't spend much time taking bumps in the ring anymore. But I am. Surprise! Surprise! Did you watch Night of Champions? You saw, or you've heard about it. I'm sure it's all over the news. I think it was on the cover of the New York Times the other day. On CNN, everyone's talking about it. Jericho returns to be the surprise mystery partner for Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose against the Wyatt family. That happened on the Night of Champions. I'm going to tell you all about that. I'm going to tell you how I was able to take the bumps that I took, how I'm able to keep on rocking it and be at the top of my game, performing at such a high level. And one of the reasons is because I take care of myself, watch my diet, work out hard, and I've added Recovery Max to my game plan. This is not a joke. Ever since I started working with Recovery Max, I've realized how important it is to keep me moving, keep me feeling good, because Recovery Max is a fast-absorbing post-workout formula, comes in both a cream and a spray. Accelerates your recovery, almost instantly relieves the pain of intense training and intense bump taking, especially when you're in the ring like with a giant like Braun Strowman. You see, that guy is huge. I'm using the spray right now today because it's so easy and fast, using it on my knee. It's made with 100% natural ingredientes, and here's what it does. Recover Max increases circulation, reduces lactic acid buildup to relieve tired, sore muscles, and it helps prevent muscle strain that can keep you from your next workout. And if you work out, then you probably already know this. The recovery period after training is just as important as the time you spend in the gym. Recovery time helps reduce the risk of injury and muscle strain, and you don't have to be a pro wrestler or a musician or an athlete to know how important that is, all right? Recovery Max is an Australian formulation that's proudly made in the US of A, man. It's the only product with arnica, emu oil, and rosemary oil for all natural, long-lasting relief that won't leave your skin greasy, if you're an old person from Canada, or greasy, if you pronounce it like everybody else, and it won't make you smell like a medicine cabinet. All right, I spray it on right after my workout, right after my match, right after my Posse show, and I rub it in. And if I have any of those especially sore spots, I spray those spots a second time and feel the entire muscle loosen up. You guys know that I bike a lot when I'm home in Tampa. I've been using Recovery Max on my knees after my 10-mile rides. Eases the soreness, helps me get back on the bike the very next day. Recovery Max is made for people like you and me to help you crush your fitness goals and get maximum results from training and recovery time. Order Recovery Max post-workout cream or spray today from recoverymax.com or drugstore.com, or search keyword Recovery Max on Amazon. Hey, if you get it from Amazon, you know what to do. Use the T.I.J links. And also use Recovery Max to loosen up after your workouts. Keep young, keep spry, keep in tippity-tippity-top condition with Recovery Max.
Talk is Jericho, baby. Talk is Jericho. Talk is Jericho, mama. Talk is me.
All right, welcome to Talk is Jericho. It's the pot of thunder and rock and roll. The People's Podcast has arrived. The remedy for boredom is here. Let's go for a ride with the Insane Clown Posse is here. Before we get to the ICP, I'm going to tell you all about my experience at Night of the Champions, how it went down, what happened, what the future plans are, all that stuff coming up here on Talk is Jericho. But before we get rolling, today's episode being supported by Burger King. All right now at Burger King, get the new extra long jalapeno cheese battleground. Feel the flame with 2 all-beef patties stacked with spicy jalapeno peppers, now part of the 2 for $5 deal. Only at Burger King, limited time only, restrictions do apply. Okay, talking about cheeseburgers is funny. The other day I was watching Ring of Honor, and I saw this guy come on screen. Super skinny, probably weighed, I don't know, a buck 40 maybe, and he was called Cheeseburger. Did some research, talked to a couple of my friends that work in Ring of Honor, and they told me they called him Cheeseburger because when he showed up for wrestling school, they said this guy is so small he should eat some cheeseburgers. That became his wrestling name, and I just love this guy. In the classic, the classic tale of the small guy, whether you're talking about Colin Delaney or whether you're talking about Spike Dudley or any of those type of guys, I just love him because his name is Cheeseburger. There you go. Didn't know anything about him. Didn't even see him. I just said I love Cheeseburger. I posted it on my site that Cheeseburger is my new favorite wrestler. Ring of Honor sent me a cheeseburger shirt, which I wore on Instagram. My children love Cheeseburger. I think they just love the concept of a wrestler called Cheeseburger, as do I. Big props for Cheeseburger. Just goes to show it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, you too can follow your dreams and make it big in anything that you choose to do. Speaking of big, okay, so Night of Champions pay-per-view a few days ago, and I was the guest partner for Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose to face the Wyatt family. And, man, it was a great match. Just we really, really had a good time with that. Everybody worked hard. That Braun Strowman, man, he's huge. He's massive. He's super, super green, but he's not stupid. He's got some intelligence, and he's a good guy. He knows how green he is. He listens, and, man, we put on a good little show there. How did that come to be? Well, I got a call about 2 or 3 weeks prior asking me if I was available to do Night of Champions. It was Ash the Fish Expert's birthday party on Saturday, so Sunday's usually the recovery day. People stay over at our house, so it's not like I'm not available, but I'm not going to be leaving the house for no apparent reason. So I said, it depends. What do you want me to do? And they said, well, we want you to be the guest partner for the Night of Champions. And I said, well, that also depends on where we're going with it. Always want to know what the story is. Had a couple meetings back and forth about what I want to do, where I want to go with it. The powers that be agreed with me, and we were on. Bingo, bango, bongo. So I decided that I could have to miss the day after Ash the Fish Experts party, which is fine. They all played football and had fun and played family stuff with my dad, who was in town, the babyface assassin Ted Irvin, and a lot of cool people were around, but that's the price you got to pay when you got to make the donuts and keep your family supported. So I went to Houston. I flew in, got in at about 2:00, and then I just kind of hung around in the airport because I didn't need to be at the arena till about 4. And when I got there, I was going to be hidden away, sequestered. So I just hung out in the airport until about, I said, like 4:00. Had something to eat, sat down and read a book, just kind of wandered around because I didn't want to go down to baggage claim because sometimes fans wait down there. I didn't want anybody to see me. I only had carry-on bags. And so I waited until 4:00. Then I had had a driver come get me, had him pick me up at the departure drop-off so that way I could bypass the baggage claim altogether. Got into this unmarked car and drove all the way down to the arena in Houston, which I'm not sure what the name of it is. I forgot, but I know it's the same arena that I worked, the same arena that I saw Rush in earlier this year, which is cool. So I went down to the show, and as we're driving around the corner, you get to the area where all the fans are waiting. I have to go down into the floor of the car, kind of hide my face, go down the rampway. Mark Carano's waiting for me. I get out. He grabs my bag. They take me straight into this room, like a side dressing room, which is great because usually you have to hide on the bus when you're hiding. There's a bunch of buses down there, and this is probably, I think this is the 4th or 5th time I've been like the hidden guest. I'm trying to think about it. When we did the original Y2J appearance back in 1999, I wasn't hiding. I was hanging around all day, but it was a different world back then. There was no real social media to stooge you off. Then I came back in 2007, and I was going to hide, but then they decided they wanted me there earlier, so that's when I gave the torchbearer the clothesline, so that was kind of hidden, but not really. I showed up there backstage beforehand. Then there was the 2012 when I came back? Yeah, 2012 when I came back for the End of the World. That time I hid in a bus until it was time for me to come out and make my appearance. Then I hid in Phoenix for the Royal Rumble, which was the best one. That was my favorite. I hid there all day long. Then I hid again last year when Miz came out as the big surprise. Then I came out and supplanted Miz, and then I nailed Miz, and then the Wyatts attacked me. It was another time that I was hiding, and then yesterday I was hiding as well. Hiding in a room with Kane, so at least I had Kane with me. We got a chance to shoot the breeze and hang out for a bit. Then Jamie Noble, who was working as the producer in the match, came in. We discussed things together, figured out a few ideas. Then the other guys came in, the Wyatt family and Ambrose and Roman. And we put together the match and had some pretty cool things in there, pretty cool ideas, and discussed certain things. And I'm not going to divulge all of that because not everything. You guys don't need to know everything, you know. And it's funny because when you watch back today and read the Twitter, and it's like Jericho tagged in on Reigns and lost the match for the people. Why would you do that? And then Jericho walks out and gives Ambrose a shove and just keeps walking. Why would you do that? Seeds planted. Seeds planted. Okay? Storytelling. That's what we do. That's what I do. It's the only reason why I'll come back for TV is for storylines. If not, I'm not going to do it. I love doing the summer tours, the fall tours, just working the live events. I can do that until the day I want to retire, trust me. But if something catches my eye and something catches the office's eye and we decide to go for it, you go for storytelling. So yes, I'm sure a lot of people were disappointed that I wasn't on Raw the following night. Nor will I be on Raw anytime in the near future. Got a lot of stuff coming up. Okay, I still got a few shows left here on the WWE Fall Tour. Got a lot of shows left actually. This weekend in Toronto, Rochester, and Syracuse. Then I got Trenton and Madison Square Garden. Then I got 3 shows in Saudi Arabia. Then I got 3 shows in Mexico. Then I got the Kiss Cruise. Then I got 3.5 weeks overseas with Posse. I'm booked up. But I'll tell you this. If you watched the match at Night of the Champions and had a lot of questions to ask, well, maybe those questions will get answered. Maybe. Or maybe I'll never be back on TV again. Maybe it was just a one-shot deal so Jericho can come back and job to the new guys. Because that's all Jericho does, says a lot of people. Those of you who say that don't know shit. Okay? Storytelling. That's what we do. That's what we do here in the WWE. That's what we do here on Talk is Jericho. And to divulge the entire story to you right now, it wouldn't be very funny, right? It wouldn't be very good. It wouldn't be very fun. So maybe that was just a one-shot deal. Maybe it was some storytelling. And I think that those of you who know me will know which one of those answers is true. But you're going to have to wait because nothing happens quickly in the world of Chris Jericho. I could be back on Raw next week. You never know. Or I might not be back on Raw again. Not trying to string you along. Not trying to work you guys. Just giving you all the information that I choose to give you right now, knowing that stories are how we work around here and how things go. And as far as Night of the Champions was, I'm not doing pay-per-view reviews of shows anymore because I find that everyone else does them, and I don't really get a kick out of it. But I was there yesterday. I love the pay-per-view. I think I give congratulations and props to Nikki Bella for doing a good job as the heel champion, longest-running champion in Divas history. Props to Charlotte for coming out and winning. She did a great job. I think New Day is by far one of my favorite acts on the roster right now. Always good to see the Dudleys back. I think the Ascension with with Stardust is an excellent mix. I even like the Lucha Dragons with Adrian Neville. I think John Cena, it still makes me laugh when people go that John Cena sucks. Still don't think John Cena can wrestle. I haven't seen him have a bad match in probably 10 years. His match with Rollins was incredible. Sting worked his ass off. Unfortunately, got hurt. Hopefully, he's feeling better now. I think our 6-man was a blast. The reaction. I forgot to tell you. So anyway, so we go through the match, and then I'm waiting there, and then as soon as the girls' match is over, they take me kind of through the hallway, and I walk past all my friends, and like, hey, man, what's going on? Well, you Jericho, you're here. I can't believe it. And go into the Gorilla, say hi to Vince, and say hi to Triple H, and Arn Anderson, and everybody else. And then everyone goes to the ring, and everyone's waiting. Who's going to come out? And then a little goofball got in the ring. Some fan got in the ring. And you know what, dude? He's lucky I wasn't in there. I would have knocked his block off. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. Do not get into the ring as a fan. It's not funny. It's not something that's going to get you over. And we do have the right, this has been told to us by the police, to kick your fucking ass if you get in the ring. A lot of guys don't. I do. And there's nothing you can say. It's like breaking into our house at 3:30 in the morning. If you break into my house, I can hit you in the face right with a baseball bat, and nothing happens to me. So that's the same thing that happens. If you think you're being cute and want to get in the ring, remember what can happen. We have carte blanche. We're 007s. We can do whatever we want. Some guys will be nicer about it. Some guys won't, but stay the hell out of the ring. It's not funny. It's not cool. It's not safe. It's not fair to the rest of the people watching the show. It's stupid. It's unthought out. It's cowardly. And it's unacceptable. So don't do it. Anyways, so then the lights go down. The countdown starts. People start cheering. Out comes Jericho, lighted jacket. And, you could be a jerk and say it was the greatest pop ever. It was a great pop. It was huge. Was it Road Warrior pop worthy? I don't know. Steve Austin said it was. He texted me and said it was Road Warrior pop worthy, which is an old joke from the old days where the Road Warriors would always brag about how big their pops were. So it became a Road Warrior pop if you got a good pop. But it was great to be out there. The crowd was just chanting Y2J, Y2J. Some great little spots in there. I love working with the big guy, Braun Strowman. Obviously, Luke Harper, one of my favorites. I love Wyatt as well. Great little match. Crowd cheering, crowd going nuts, and then at the end, kind of unsure what to do when I bumped Ambrose and walked out. And like I said, stories are stories. They all start somewhere, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Mama always said you never know what you're going to get from the box of chocolates. And that's probably the worst, the worst Ferris Bueller imitation ever. If it was a Ferris Bueller imitation, it'd be really shitty. It was actually a Forrest Gump. All right, speaking of Forrest Gump, worst segue ever. Insane Clown Posse are here. I don't think Forrest Gump ever listened to ICP in his life, but he should have, because Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J are great guys. They got amazing stories to tell. Very unique. They did things their own way, which is how I like it. I got a special invite to hang out at the Lotus Pod, their studio and headquarters for everything ICP and Psychopathic Records in the outskirts of Detroit. And we had a great conversation about wrestling, music, all of this stuff coming up. But first, you want to see an NFL game this season, but you don't want to put in the time researching ticket prices for the games you're interested in? It's too much time, too much effort. I know how it goes. Sometimes it's too much work to try and find great seats at a price that won't break your bankola. That's why you need to download the free SeatGeek app and use my promo code ChrisJ. Get a $20 rebate off your first SeatGeek purchase. All right, I got SeatGeek on my phone. I got SeatGeek on my home computer. I got SeatGeek on my laptop computer. It's a great application. SeatGeek does a ton of other things that other ticketing sites don't do, like pulling in ticket options from hundreds of online ticket sellers, creating a one-stop shop for tickets. That way you see virtually every ticket option available for that game all on one page. No need to check any other sites. You don't need to. And if you use my promo code ChrisJ in the SeatGeek app, you'll get $20 rebate off your first SeatGeek. Say with me now, Paddlechus. Something else SeatGeek does. They got a great feature called Deal Scores. It ranks every ticket on the market with a 1 to 100 value score and shows you the best deals on a color-coded interactive map of whatever stadium you're trying to buy tickets for. That color-coded map lets you easily identify the best ticket values in the building in a glance. So you know if you're getting a good deal on the seats, maybe paying too high over face value. Guess what? With SeatGeek app, you don't have to worry about getting ripped off. Listen, man, I'm going to AC/DC next week. I'm going to get tickets from SeatGeek app because I want them up front, man. I want to be up close and personal. I want to see the spittle on Angus Young's lips, and I'm going to see them thanks to SeatGeek. Here's another thing. Thanks to SeatGeek app, you can store your credit card info right in the app and then complete your purchase in just 2 quick taps. No faster way to buy tickets, no better way to buy tickets. Go download the free SeatGeek app today. Use my promo code ChrisJ. Get $20 rebate on your first SeatGeek purchase. Again, here's how you redeem your promo code. Download the SeatGeek app. Enter the promo code ChrisJ. Then SeatGeek will send you $20 rebate once you made your first SeatGeek purchase. Get the best seats in the house and go do that today. SeatGeek app and the promo code ChrisJ is going to take you all the way, baby.
The NFL 2015 season is well underway. And Podcast One's got you covered 24/7 with network studs like Dan Patrick.
Is Peyton Manning still a top 5 player?
Plus Rich Eisen and Ian Fitzsimmons. Ex-big game champs like The Stinkin' Truth with Mark Schlereth, who provides you with weekly picks and NFL A-listers.
Mike Shanahan, is there a place where you could see RG3 kind of rekindling his career?
I think what Robert has to decide is, you know what, it may take me a couple more years to learn to to be a complete drop back quarterback. So it all depends on if he wants to accept to be that type of guy and learn.
Not to mention Jay Moore's Sports LA and Ross Tucker's football podcast.
He was wearing cement boots trying to get back from center.
And if you love to play fantasy football, we've got you covered with huge podcasts from DraftKings and Fantasy Feast with Ross Tucker. Don't miss a single snap all season long. Head to podcastone.com now. That's podcastone.com.
All right, here at the studio, the home of the Insane Clown Posse.
The infamous Lotus Pod.
The Lotus Pod? Is that what we call it?
That's what we call it.
Is this like your studio is in here? Is this kind of like the headquarters for Psychopath Records, too?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and this is so funny. We were just talking as I was setting up this rig about how we've been in the same circles for such a long time, but never have actually met face to face. And it's like I feel like I know you guys because you guys we've been following each other for the last 15 years or so, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, wherever I was, you guys just came right afterwards.
Yeah, we just missed each other.
Or before, right?
Yeah, one or the other. Yeah.
You guys were working in ECW for a while.
Yeah.
Guys worked in WCW for a while.
Yeah, first WWE, then when you were in WCW, we were in WWE, then we switched.
Yeah, we actually worked in WWF.
What did you do in WWF?
We were with the Oddities.
Yeah, yeah, it was cool shit for us, because we were like, we're in WWF, this is great, but the gimmick was,
Well, the Oddities was Kurgan, and there was like a giant
Tenta,
Silva,
Golga.
Gold, that was his name. Was he Gold?
It was John Tenta.
Yeah. Oh, he was Gold.
Yeah,
and then they had a Cartman doll or something like that.
And Luna Vachon.
And actually, my good friend Don Callis was like the manager, the Jackal. Wasn't he the manager?
He wasn't there when we were
Okay,
there.
he was gone at that point.
Yeah, but then we turned on the Oddities and joined the Headbangers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that come into play? How did you end up in the WWF?
Well, they called us and wanted a song for the ring music for the Oddities.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And for one of when they were putting albums out of the ring music
of the Superstars
we actually
music,
got the platinum record around here somewhere.
Oh, okay.
For that record, yeah.
And so we said, yeah, but we want to be involved,
Right.
And we said we wrestle, and they had no idea that we were actually independent wrestlers.
Right.
Before
they didn't know we knew how to work,
Right.
And they were like, send us a tape, So we sent the tape. Then next thing you know, they flew us to Connecticut.
Yeah.
And then we got in there with
Tommy Pritchard.
Was it Tom or
Yeah,
Bruce?
it was Tom.
Tom Pritchard.
Tom was training.
Tom Pritchard, yeah.
Got in the ring with him, and they videotaped it, and we did a bunch of stuff.
They did a match.
Yeah, we did a match with
each
other.
We were just like, we don't even want money for the song. We just want to.
You just want to be on the show.
We just want to, we want to be out there,
So we started out at SummerSlam at Madison Square Garden, which was just off the
That's
hook.
your start.
Yeah,
they didn't have us working then. We just came out to the ring with them, and then we'd interfere with, like managers do, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, so we weren't actually like involved like in the ring angles.
Well, we got to trip his foot that
right,
night.
yeah, but we weren't actually in the ring,
And then we said we want to keep going, so we just jumped on the tour right there.
So I mean, because and just as a little bit of a backstory, as we were talking, you guys are a lot. There's only 3 of us that have done at the highest level of wrestling and music. You guys, myself, and then now Billy Corgan doing the TNA thing, booking.
Right.
He's kind of like he's made it to the top of that as well. But you guys started before there was an Insane Clown Posse as wrestlers. Is that correct?
Yeah, but the thing about Billy Corgan too, he's not actually in the ring.
He's not in the ring, right?
Bumps,
He's like behind the scenes,
right? Yeah.
So
there's a whole difference.
Sure, there is. Other than us, it's Y2J and ICP.
That's
there you go,
right.
and that's about all I can really.
You
think
got the truth too, but he's
right.
He
He's
raps,
just getting
but
started.
He's not,
I know Jeff Hardy plays some music too, but you're talking about
right, actually sell records,
or
right? Yeah.
Working in Madison Square Garden as a wrestling gang. But you guys started as wrestlers.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, this is what you wanted to do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wrestling was our first dream.
We were backyard wrestlers, what I'm saying, since we were I was 8, and we, man, I wish I had a picture of it. We had I don't even know how, to this day, I have no idea how we built our ring in our backyard. It was just blood, sweat, and tears. We found railroad ties and pounding them in with rocks.
Yeah, the big railroad wooden stakes and pounded them in.
And drilled holes for hose. Everything was garbage picked, of course. And, they found hose and just pulled it mad tight. That's
garden hose.
That's how
that's
deep
the ropes.
Right, that's how deep the railroad ties were, so we could actually pull the garden hose tight enough where it didn't even bow in or nothing, and then found some carpet to put down,
So that you actually made your own ring.
Yeah, you could go to the top rope.
You could actually go to the top rope and everything.
Up there. And then we found a big roll, this big industrial roll of tape. And it had little Red Wing logos on it, you know what I'm saying? And we just used that for turnbuckles. We just taped it up, you know what I'm saying? So we had turnbuckles. We had the whole nines, man. It was great.
And this is when you guys were just kids.
Yeah, we did it for years.
Yeah, I was seriously probably 9, 10 years old.
We did it until we were 17.
Right, we were those weirdos.
Until we we pretty much did the backyard thing until we jumped into the independence,
So you were never actually officially trained. You guys were just learning as kids, just by watching what you saw on TV.
He was trained. I wasn't really. I was never actually trained. But Jay had a little bit
training.
He had a little bit of training.
Yeah,
a little bit of training.
We did some stuff with, believe it or not, Al Costello, who was working as a security guard.
Was he one of the Kangaroos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fabulous Kangaroos.
Yeah.
And,
is this in Detroit?
This is in Detroit. Yeah. And then we used to go down and see him every day, and he would take us into this room at the building where he was a security guard at, and it was just an empty room. There was no furniture, and we would get on the floor, and he would show us things, and we did that every day. We'd take the bus downtown and do that every day and go see him, and the first show we were actually on, believe it or not, the main event was the Sheik versus Bobo Brazil, the original Sheik.
And this is not 1975. This is 1990.
This is 1991.
So Sheik's probably 80 or
That's
something,
right?
Yeah.
They were so old that Bobo Brazil had two guys walking him to the ring.
Kidding me?
I'm not kidding. They were walking him to the ring.
Wow.
And then when he got in the ring, he just leaned in the corner and held himself up in the corner. And Sheik would come over to him, and they'd do the deal. And Bobo never moved across the ring. He just stayed in the corner the whole time.
Wow, and that was the match.
That was the match. But it was still the Sheik versus Bobo Brazil, you know? And people were tripping to see it, And I can always say, my first match was, the main event was Sheik versus Bobo Brazil. And, make it sound like it was back in the old Kobo days.
Right.
In reality, they were both real old, but it was them.
Yeah,
and it was awesome. And
so was Sabu around then at that point?
Yes, that was Sabu.
He was the Elephant Boy. Yeah,
Sabu the Elephant Boy. That's what he went by.
His first name, right? Yeah.
And and also who started on it was either their first match or their first year wrestling. I don't remember, but we made friends that day. Was Rob Van Dam, and he was in a tag team with a guy named Dango. And they were the something like the U.S. Express, some typical one.
And I remember being on the same cards as Rhino, back then when he was Rhino Richards,
all the Detroit guys.
Yeah. And I actually started out as his manager.
Okay.
Because I was 16, I was 100
You're a
40
skinnier
pounds,
guy, yeah. Shaggy T. Skinnier guy. Violent J's the bigger guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is way before that. You know
okay.
what I'm saying?
Right.
I was a skinny guy. I was like, man, I'll be your manager. I ain't trying to get in there and
So what was
get
your wrestling
broken.
name?
I didn't have one as a manager.
Just
but
manager.
when we first started wrestling, actually, believe it or not, it was when we were doing our backyard wrestler, I had two gimmicks. I had the White Tiger, which was a mask wrestler, made a sweet mask out of a T-shirt and all that good
course.
stuff,
Right.
And then the Rhino.
Oh, okay.
Somehow, yeah,
but
which had no coalition with
you couldn't use that one
whatsoever.
anymore once he showed up. Right?
Well, no, because I never did that on a bigger thing or whatever. Then later on, when we started doing independence for Malcolm Monroe and stuff locally, I was a sewer dweller.
The sewer dweller.
Yeah.
How about you?
I
Jay?
was Corporal Daryl Daniels. My brother was in Desert Storm, and he would send home like
All the fatigues.
all his fatigues and BDUs and everything,
cheapest,
and I would wear the
easiest
army
wrestling
gear.
gimmick.
And I was Corporal Daryl Daniels, even though I had a fresh mullet and everything. You know what I mean? I was, and I would yell, "Salute the corporal! Salute the corporal!"
I like how you didn't go too high. Like you didn't want to be the colonel or the general. I'm going to be the corporal.
This is the
I'll
corporal.
start slow.
I
and
didn't
work
know.
my way
I
up.
thought the corporal was high. I thought that. I didn't know the way it was.
That's
you
that's
know.
like going to the ring
Didn't know the ranking
as a
system.
yellow belt in karate.
Right.
I'm the yellow belt. I'm going to give you a first shot to the head. So you guys are going to the ring, and the Sheik is there, and Sabu is there. So you guys are actually working, on the independent circuit in Detroit, because Michigan was a fairly healthy independent
it was a
scene at
hotbed,
that point. in
time, yeah,
Yeah.
But
they
the
were
thing
pulling
with
decent crowds.
the thing that was different about back then, with the exception of Van Dam, Dango, and Sabu, everybody was old.
Oh, like right.
Back in the day, when
Old,
we
not a
started,
shape.
Yeah.
when we started, and then I remember after we did that first show with the Sheik and Bobo, Al Snow was there, and he booked us for a show in Lima, Ohio, and it went from there. We just started getting bookings from there, And every show we went to, all the dressing room was old. Everybody was old. It's not like today where it's a bunch of young guys high
Yeah,
flying.
and it wasn't like, we were super young, so it seemed like everybody was old.
Yeah.
They actually were old.
Yeah,
They were
they
old.
actually were like 40s, 50s, 60s.
It was old fat guys everywhere, and they, you know what I mean?
But you know what's funny? I started in 1990 in Calgary, and it was the same thing. There was a lot of older guys there. Actually, the guy who was the boss was a guy called Bulldog Bob Brown, probably 58, 59 years old fat guy, crew cut, and just would screw with you the whole time. It was
Yeah.
the same vibe, I think, anywhere you were, because there wasn't that influx of young guys wanting to be wrestlers maybe at that point in time. I don't know.
And you go see an independent show today, it's all young guys.
Yeah.
you know?
It's all young, smaller guys.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Bowflex guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
That's why it's called Bowflex
That's right.
wrestlers.
So what finally led you to stop wrestling?
Because we kept wrestling. We got more and more serious into wrestling. At the same time, we started doing music, and music just took off for us much, much faster than wrestling. You know what I mean? And it was
And we started making money.
we started making money.
There's
doing
the
music,
difference.
Yeah. And we had way more success in music than we were having in wrestling. So what happened was we stopped wrestling independently because this is back in the 90s. We
early
used to
90s.
never want to be seen without the face paint. It's impossible nowadays.
Right, internet. This is pre-internet
Yeah,
days.
right, sure. It's like Kiss in the 70s. You
Right.
could do it.
Right, yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Now,
So, we didn't want to ever be seen without the face paint. And what happened was fans of our music started showing up at our wrestling shows.
Oh,
they
I
were
see.
hearing that we were on these shows. So they were showing up with cameras and stuff, taking pictures of us wrestling. We'd be wrestling each other, or stuff like that. And
We had
and
some super matches, man.
against each other?
Oh, yeah, because we
Yeah.
knew each other inside and out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
So this is still Corporal Daryl Daniels,
I became Hector Hatchet.
of course. And then who were you?
That's when I was a sewer dweller.
Oh, the sewer dweller versus Hector Hatchet.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good high school gym main event,
We used
right?
to tear it up. There's some stuff on YouTube.
What kind of stuff were you guys doing?
There was
Like-
totally ECW influence, bashing chairs, but you know what I'm saying? But it was still like some good wrestling in there on top of it was borderline hardcore. It wasn't like to the point of barbed wire thumbtack shit yet.
But that was all new at that point. In
oh
time,
yeah,
too. You
That
talk
was-
about
that
the
was new
mid
and hot.
'90s.
That's like
I mean,
that was like the raw attitude
yeah.
days.
You know,
they
I
jacked that
started
shit.
in FMW in '91. That's when I first started seeing the no rope barbed wire, blow up mines,
Yeah.
death
Yeah.
death matches, and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And then that kind of got transferred over to ECW, and then kind of became more the
Yeah.
normal thing.
Yeah. And
That's when it first started getting hot in Detroit a little bit. Like they'd have like the hardcore wrestlers like Pondo and Ian Rotten come in and
Oh,
do
yeah, yeah.
thumbtack
Madman
matches
Pondo
and
and-
shit.
And when
Right.
we made a little bit of money in music, one of the first things we bought was a wrestling ring.
A real one.
Yeah. So we had a warehouse and we had a ring in it, and we'd get in there every day work out in it every day. We'd have an hour-long match every day
an Ironman
match.
Just
match.
on your own?
Just
to
for
practice,
right,
to train?
Just going and going and going
and for
every
the
day.
exercise.
So
Right.
when we were having these matches for a promoter named Malcolm Monroe, and his promotion was called Insane Championship Wrestling, of course, influenced by ECW. We were tearing it up. We were going in there, and we were in top shape, and we were just tearing it up. But we had to stop, because juggalos were showing up, snapping pictures.
But
and stuff.
what we did do is we started doing every other week. We would do our own shit, NW or NAW, National All Star Wrestling, which we brought back. That was our division when we were little kids back there at wrestling. So we brought it back once we had a wrestling ring
in a warehouse.
Right.
So we'd have kegs of beer and
we'd
invite all
family
our
and
friends.
Make it a big party.
Yeah.
And then we'd have a
throw
whole
show
full-on
for
card,
them.
as professionals we could do it. We had cage matches, all that stuff, And so, for a time there, it'd be like 1 week wrestle for Malcolm, next week do our thing, next week wrestle for Malcolm, next week do our thing, Then eventually we stopped wrestling for Malcolm because, like Jay was saying, all the pictures and stuff. But then we kept doing our thing for a little bit, But then, once we, got signed to a label and shit got really, really, really busy, we just kind of...
I didn't realize that you guys had done that much wrestling. I didn't realize it came all the way from teenagers. That's a...
The cool thing was once ICP kind of took off for us nationally in 1997, none of our, most of our fans didn't know we had anything to do with wrestling, and we put out this video called Stranglemania, which was what happened was I was flipping through a wrestling magazine and I saw an ad in the corner, a small ad, and it said thumbtack, barbed wire, exploding rings, all this. And this was FMW tapes.
Okay, yeah.
So we ordered a bunch of them, and they had no commentary on them. It was just the matches. So what we did was we did the commentary on them as Violent J and Shaggy, but as these characters. I was Diamond Donovan Douglas.
3D and Handsome Harley Guistella Guido.
And we did a comedy.
What is that one? What is it?
Handsome Harley Guistella, also known as Guido.
Guido. And we did the comedy style,
Mm-hmm.
And we put that video out. We didn't own the rights to it or nothing.
And we were totally breaking kayfabe, everything,
Right, so you were doing the commentary, then selling it back to
we were selling
people,
it
right?
to our
VHS
wrestling,
tapes, right?
or to our music fans. And man, that thing blew.
Oh, yeah.
It went.
Actually, I think I've even heard of that before.
It sold really well, And so we had a show called Stranglemania Live downtown at St. Andrews Hall. And we hired a bunch of deathmatch wrestlers to come in for the undercard, So this is like you said, it was brand new in America,
It's like 96, I
barbed
think it
wire,
was.
thumbtacks.
Yeah, just starting to get in here.
All of that. We had a girls' thumbtack match on the show. We had all kinds of stuff. And in the main event, it was a steel cage match, me and Shaggy versus the Rednecks, or the Chicken Boys they were called. And they came out with Confederate flags, and they were, we got a thing against racist people.
Right.
And they, they were playing.
So they're playing the racists?
Yeah, the racists. And
Southern racists.
Nobody knew we could wrestle at all.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew we knew anything about pro wrestling. And so it sold out. It sold out in advance, People were like, what? ICP's going to wrestle? What the They didn't have any idea, what did they went to see the spectacle. Like, what is this going to be?
And then we came with some real shit.
And then we got in the ring, and we this is when we were in top form, you know what I mean? And we killed it. I mean, we were coming off the top of the cage. He took a bump from the top of the cage through a table on the outside.
Wow.
I did a flip off the top of the cage through a table on a guy. It was great. And that was one of the greatest nights of my life because the crowd was so intense, the show went so perfect, and that was our first time ever wrestling publicly as ICP,
Okay.
And that was actually the tape that we sent to WWE when they called about us being on the soundtrack. So that's the extent of our pro wrestling before we went to WWE.
Okay. So it sounds like music and wrestling were happening at the same time for you guys, a lot like me. In both cases, you've always been running your own businesses, right? You got your own wrestling promotion, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, your own label, Psychopathic Records. If any of you guys listening run your own businesses, like these guys do, you know the frustration of creating invoices and trying to stay on top of all that paperwork. I bet you spend many nights and weekends just trying to stay on top of it all. I know I do. Stop wasting hours every week on something you can do in just minutes with Invoice to Go. Invoice to Go is mobile. The app makes it really easy to send invoices on the go using your smartphone, tablet, or computer, and it's fast. Once you download Invoice to Go from the App Store, you can send your first invoice in less than 2 minutes, and I can verify that because I need to use an invoice for my Team Rock show that I do over on Classic Rock, the World Rock Chart. I have to use an invoice. I downloaded the app. In 2 minutes, I had an invoice drawn up. It really is that easy and that fast. It really works as well. You can invoice customers right on the spot as soon as you finish the job. You can also customize Invoice to Go. You can choose one of the professionally designed templates or customize one to fit your business. And Invoice to Go is organized. Keeps track of your cash flow automatically. You'll always know who's paid and who still owes you money, and that's important. Invoice to Go is free to try. Give it a try today and create your first 3 invoices absolutely, what is it now? Free. I'm going to sweeten the deal for you too, because I'm sure you'll love Invoice to Go once you give it a try. For a limited time, you'll get 50% off Invoice to Go for an entire year. That's right. To get that amazing deal, just use my promo code Y2J. That's Y2J. Use it, and you'll get Invoice to Go for as little as $9.99 a year. That's like 80 cents a month, man. Take advantage of this great deal. If you have a business, if you need invoices, download Invoice to Go from the App Store for your iPhone, iPad, or Android device. Then use the promo code Y2J. Make everything so much less complicated. Get paid, organize yourself, and do it for free. All right, so I'm sitting at the Lotus Pod, the studios here with Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J of Insane Clown Posse. We're going to get in their time with both the WWE and WCW. Here's some of the adventures in pro wrestling, which run they like more, which company they like more. But first, we're going to take care of your hunger. I know what they like, a great deal, and you're going to get a great deal from Burger King. If you like spicy, you got to try the new extra long jalapeno cheeseburger at Burger King. Feel the flame with not one but 2 grilled all beef patties, fresh lettuce, crunchy onions, and spicy jalapenos stacked between an extra long bun. That sounds good. I'm getting hungry over here. Wow. Mouth watering, stomach growling. If one sandwich isn't enough to satisfy your spicy taste buds, good thing is it's now part of Burger King's 2 for $5 deal. So go ahead, indulge yourself. Double up on the spicy by getting 2 extra long jalapeno cheeseburgers for just $5. That's criminal, man. If that's a little bit more hot than your mouth can handle, you can get extra long jalapeno cheeseburger with a Big King. Or maybe do the extra long jalapeno cheeseburger with a Big Fish. How about an original chicken sandwich and an extra long jalapeno cheeseburger for, yeah, you guessed it, just $5. That's the deal so good your mouth will thank you for it. Your mouth will say, thanks, man. And you'll say, all right. Only at Burger King restaurants, limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Price is higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Single items at regular price. All right, you got all that down. Go check out Burger King. Get yourself a snack and then get ready to continue right now with ICP. Here we go with Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J.
Were you guys always too when you were doing the wrestling in the backyard, etc.? Were you guys also rapping as well? Were you doing music too?
Yeah.
So it was, you guys wanted to do both.
Yeah, we were doing
just like me.
backyard wrestling. We were doing backyard rap.
The equivalent of backyard, yeah, the same equivalent, yeah.
What is it about this area? It's funny because I'm driving here and, I'm following GPS and I don't know, I know how to get from the airport to the Joe Louis. That's about it. So I'm driving and you see 6 Mile Road, 7 Mile Road, and then of course 8 Mile. Everyone knows that. And you guys are on 9 miles. So you guys are like 1 mile badder than Eminem. You guys are like 1 mile.
No, it's actually the other way.
Oh, 1 mile worse?
Right,
okay.
Yeah.
We're 1 mile
We're 1 mile
friendlier.
into the suburbs, right? Yeah, it goes 8 Mile down is the city.
But
8 Mile up are the suburbs.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we grew up on 8 Mile.
Okay, so it's the same. That's a
Yeah,
bad
we grew
area
up in
of
the
town.
same exact neighborhood as Eminem.
So what is it with, like, there's you guys, there's Eminem, there's Kid Rock. I mean, those are 3 of the biggest rap groups, rap guys of our generation, all coming from the same area. What is it about this area that like it makes like white guys want to rap?
I don't know.
Is it a
I've
rough
always
area of
wondered
town,
that.
or is it just something in the water, or the beer, or the chips?
I think there's tons of white rappers, especially nowadays. But I think with Detroit's always been like a gimmick based rap. You know what I'm saying? Like us with the paint and like Eminem, you know, we talking about, you know, killing his wife.
Sure,
and,
yeah.
You know,
Little
committing
Slim Shady
suicide,
persona
and
and-
Kid Rock's gimmick being a redneck. You know, it's more gimmick based in Detroit. At least at what, you know, because I mean, all three of us, you know, none of us are spring chickens. We've been around forever.
Right.
You know,
Since
in
the
Detroit
90s,
back in
yeah.
the day was very, very, very gimmick heavy when it came to rap.
Interesting.
You know,
We had
very
a guy
gimmick
that
heavy.
was like on top, and his name was Isham, and he used to come to the stage in a coffin and have a 666
right.
shirt.
He's supposedly satanic.
And he was
and-
supposedly
yeah.
like a devil worshiper, and everybody had like these outrageous, almost like
Personas,
gimmicks, yeah, you know.
Well, if you look at it too, Alice Cooper.
Yeah,
he comes
from the
here,
history of
from
Detroit. Yeah, yeah.
Kiss's first big city was Detroit. Hello,
Right.
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah, they
Cobo
ate up the
Hall,
gimmick, yeah.
right? So I guess, and you know, Detroit is into that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it seems like it still was when we started out. You know what I mean? And we wanted to fit in too. You know what I mean? We just we're doing what.
And
what
you know,
Detroit
and there was
doing.
tons of people that never hit that like were super gimmick heavy too. You know, you know.
But let me be honest. You know, I would say, you know, as far as like that, the honest truth is like that. You know, like Alice Cooper and Kiss and the history of Detroit rock and everything. That had little to do with why we paint our face. Way more wrestling had to do with it.
Is that why? What inspired you to start painting your face?
Well, we just the way we cut our interviews in the early days, they were promos.
Oh, straight up, yeah.
we were
It was-
yelling.
yeah.
You know, doing interviews.
Let me
they
tell
were
you
straight
something,
up
motherfucker. You
promo,
know, constantly pointing the finger.
Right.
You know,
and we just were in character. You know what I mean? Like straight up.
we
That
never
came
break
from
kayfabe back
wrestling.
then. I mean, now we do interviews. It's like we keep it as real as we can. But back then, it's like
You guys are always playing the
we'd
characters.
be in Europe and like we'd be talking about how we jacked the car to get there and the Spice Girls. You know, the craziness. You know, just straight
and
insanity.
people are buying it. Like,
Yeah.
It's crazy interviews talking about the end of the world, and after the sixth Joker card comes out, you know, the world's gonna burn and everything. And you know, the internet came and ruined all that. You know what I mean? It just put us in a big, you know, glass. It made all the walls see through, and everybody could see us. You know,
we always looked at it. You know, we always looked at it like wrestling style. It's like back in the day. If you were to meet Hulk Hogan, you wanted to meet the Hulkster. You didn't want to meet Terry. You know,
Right.
You want, how you doing, brother?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you want
yeah.
that. No, hey, how you doing, guy?
Yeah.
You know, you didn't want that. That's how we would always be in stores. Everything we'd just be balls out, full and gimmick. You know,
It's almost like the luchador thing, you know, Mil Mascaras or Rey Mysterio.
Oh, yeah,
or
never
whatever.
take
They
the
never
mask
take
off,
the
right.
mask off. I mean, Mil Mascaras literally never
Right.
took his mask off.
Right.
When we were in Japan, he'd be riding on the bus with his mask on. It's like, dude, you can take it. No one sees my face, like ever. So, all right, whatever. It's 150 degrees. You want to wear a mask? Good for you. Good on you.
Go
man.
probably got some good skin.
But I mean, even with you guys today, at first it was like you guys won't have your paint on. I was like, well, that's okay. Do we still take a picture? And it's like, well, you guys don't take pictures without your paint. Still,
we
right?
do not. We do take pictures without our paint, but not like anything publicity or anything
Gotcha.
official. You
Right.
know, like if somebody catches you on the street, hey, take a picture.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But if we're doing something that's gonna go on a website or or Instagram or whatever,
Officially, you still want to be
right?
in
then
in
we'll
paint.
always wear paint.
Yeah.
But we used to get to the venues, jump off the bus, have
And
masks
masks,
on. We used to
wrestling
wear
masks.
wrestling
Oh, you wear
masks.
masks?
Lucha masks, yeah.
We wear the masks in the venue all day long. Before they open doors, walking around while the crew's setting up the stage, we'd be wearing masks. You know,
And if we didn't do an interview in paint, we had a mask on. You know,
Yeah, we wear
always.
masks.
Really treated it as a different persona.
that
No
for the
doubt,
first,
100%.
Which is
probably
cool.
for the first 10 years, it was like that. You know, until all of a sudden shit started popping up on the internet, pictures of us at Wendy's eating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the
With
worst,
no paint,
right?
You know what I mean, and stuff like that. And it was heartbreaking.
Did you ever
at
see
first.
pictures? See someone taking pictures and like, say, "Hey, give me that phone."
Oh
Or-
yeah.
Oh
all the
yeah,
time.
we
back
used
in
to,
the day.
our guys
yeah.
used to grab phones and get in
The
trouble
video
for it.
video
And-
cameras, everything. Smash video cameras. all
smash
that
them on
shit.
the ground? Yeah.
I mean, not us personally, but we'd have people that do
You
it.
have
you
your
know?
people do it, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, just imagine how Kiss must have felt in the '70s. You know, if someone took a picture. I mean, that's the end of your career.
Oh, yeah.
Back in those days. Now everybody has a freaking phone. You know, we did a signing last week at we did a festival in Montreal. you do a signing, and it's not a signing; it's a photo shoot because everyone. Can I take a selfie? Can I take a selfie? Can I take a selfie?
And then, hold on, blurry. Turns into a half-hour Civil War.
It's looking the other way. Yeah. Oh, the lighting's bad. Oh, there's a picture of my dog. What is it? And that's it. It's a shame a little bit because it does take away a little bit of the mystique of what we do as
not
performers.
A little bit, a lot of it.
So then we opened the floodgates, and I wrote a book. And I just told all. You know what I mean? Yeah. And after that, it was over. You know what I mean? Like the mystique of
just
who we are behind the paint.
Right. We didn't grow up in an industrial waste pipe in in Delray. We actually grew up in homes. And,
you had places to go, right? But that's kind of the whole
parents and whatnot.
The whole vibe of Insane Clown Posse. I mean, you guys have created this entire cottage industry. I mean, ICP. You're almost like Motorhead and the Ramones and Nirvana and Guns N' Roses. Even if you don't know those bands, you still will buy merch by those bands. Because there's so many teenage chicks wearing Motorhead shirts. No idea. So many ICP everywhere. I mean, I'm seeing your necklace there with the little guy running with the butcher knife, the cleaver.
Yeah,
you see that everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
Hatchet
Man. Sorry, it's become like a part of pop culture here in America and probably around the world.
I see it like the Misfits. You always see Misfits merch.
Great point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I compare us to the Misfits a lot. I think a lot of the people maybe,
and they paint their faces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jerry wears it. Jerry will wear his face paint to the grocery store.
Right.
And Jerry only.
Yeah.
But we're super blessed too. We're happy, we even though it's not like it was in the 90s, it seemed to be a little bit more we were a little more control. We were a little bit more in control of our image and everything in the 90s, It's not like that anymore, but we're still very blessed to even be relevant, you know what I mean?
So what is it about ICP that's gone through the roof with the gimmick and the Hatchet Man and just the whole concept of Insane Clown Posse? Why do you think people have connected with you guys so well?
Because we've never had a one hit wonder radio hit or nothing. We've always been consistent. People don't buy our records to hear one song that was on the radio.
We don't have any hits.
You don't, right?
People buy our records to hear the record, not that one song they're familiar with. And it's always been like that, and it always continue to be like that. So it's like. When we do a show, nobody's waiting for one specific song and then they leave after it, or waiting, we gotta wait till the encore to do our big song or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got, multiple songs that we do to get the crowd hyped.
That your fans know all of them, but the
doubt.
mainstream knows none of them.
Right.
Who needs the mainstream?
Right.
This is probably where, I might sound a little conceited, but I believe that our longevity is due to the fact that we work hard and we put out a good product. Whatever that crazy ass product is, we do it well. You know what I mean? We work hard. We come here to this office every day when we're not on the road. Like a 9-to-5 job every day. You know what I mean? Monday through Friday, we're here. We're thinking. We're working. Even if we're not in the studio recording, we're all powwowing, coming up with ideas, things, ways to stay relevant. You know what I mean? Promotional things, merchandise. We're constantly trying to develop cool merchandise because we're fans of what we do. So we know what fans would like because we're fans as well, know? And then we run our wrestling promotion and working on that and bringing that on tour. Is another reason for Juggalos to gather.
And Juggalos are your fans,
yeah,
which is a great name.
Yeah,
that's a great name.
That just developed somehow.
Right.
How did that start?
We were never like you're a Juggalo.
Oh, you never came up with that?
No, it just happened.
And then
somebody said it or something.
Then another thing is we grew up together. And we're not in a band with 5 people. I mean, you got to know how difficult that is.
Sure.
5 different personalities clashing and stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's like we basically we can finish each other's sentences and shit. And we don't fall out. We don't break up for a year, get back together. And there's just not a group of people. It's us two in here. You know what I'm saying? Making the record.
Yeah.
Of course, we got a studio crew and stuff, but that rotates a lot.
The creativity comes from you two guys.
And so we never have beef where we're like, all right, well, this, we're done.
We don't argue.
Come back a couple years
we're
later.
best friends for real. Be on and out of the paint. You know what I mean?
Which is so important after being together for 30 years.
Right.
as
I mean,
friends.
I known him since I was 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 9.
Yeah. Well, there's also such your fan base is so loyal. I mean, I find that with wrestling fans, with heavy metal fans. I mean, say even like Star Wars fans or something that's not quote unquote the cool thing. If you're an Insane Clown Posse fan, you've got this whole legion of fans that know something that the rest of the world doesn't know. It's like a secret society of tens and hundreds of thousands of people. But it's our thing.
It's people that get it.
Right.
They get it.
WWE fans are the same because it's not a mainstream thing as much as we try to make it be. It never has been. Heavy metal, it's never mainstream. If it is, it's just for cups of coffee and then it's gone again. So if you meet somebody else that's an ICP fan, it's like, hey, wow, this guy's cool. He likes the ICP.
You got something in common
right
with
off the
them.
bat, right?
Yeah.
So you have that originality and that uniqueness there.
It just is either you like us and you understand us, or you hate us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You rarely find anybody that's like, yeah, they're all right. I listen to them once in a while.
Yeah,
it's either
I can guarantee
balls deep.
it's polarizing.
Or I hate the out them guys.
Isn't that what you want, right?
I can guarantee you right now you're going to get tons of hate just from having us on here.
Oh,
you know what I
But
mean?
you even
No
say
doubt.
that the new record is The Marvelous Missing Link, and at the beginning of the record, I believe it's on this one, it's like we're the world's most hated band.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, but we also have thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of fans that love that about us.
Yeah, we're very fortunate because our fans are very supportive. There's not millions of them. Our records don't go platinum.
But they
used
have,
to.
though.
They used to.
No one's record goes
there
platinum
are
anymore.
millions of them, but millions of them don't buy records.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One kid will buy a record for their whole crew, and now people just like bootleg
Well, now with
it down,
Apple
download it.
iTunes, you just
Yeah.
go pay $10 a month and you get everyone's record.
Right.
Right.
But
or you just send it to somebody. People just file share or whatever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But there's no telling really what
Getting
you sell.
plaques like these nowadays that's tough.
And you do have platinum discs on the wall, gold discs. I love that.
Platinum all over.
I love
place.
the Great Malenko.
Yeah.
Which is a great one.
A lot of wrestling influences.
How did you come up with that name? I mean, obviously we know the Great Malenko, Dean Malenko's
It
dad.
had nothing to do with that, though.
How did you
Absolutely
get it?
Nothing to do with that.
Unless
Dark Carnival's a crazy motherfucker, man.
Yeah, unless it was something subliminal. When we got to WCW and we met Dean Malenko, he said he was mad about that.
Was he?
Yeah. He
Really?
was like, that's an insult to my dad. And we were like,
You're kidding me.
He was. Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't like us. You know what I mean? But we knew who Dean Malenko was. But, when we came up with the Great Malenko, it's hard to believe, but I don't think we subconsciously knew about Boris the Great Malenko.
Right.
Not at all.
So is it like is this your Great Malenko's like a magician or something, or just
Yeah, he's an illusionist.
Gotcha.
But we just the name, the Great Malenko came into our heads as the name of the fourth Joker's card, and later we learned of Boris the Great Malenko.
Right. Then we're like, oh shit.
So what did Dean say? Did he come up to you guys, or what
Yeah.
happened?
He was like, that's an insult to my dad. And we were like, honestly, we had no idea, We knew who you were, we didn't know, and he was like, bullshit.
Really?
And walked away, yeah. We had a lot of weird things happen when we got into WCW.
What else happened?
Well, Mick Foley, who's a good friend of ours now, he was on the Stranglemania video wrestling Terry Funk and
Okay.
that was
wrestling
actually in
others.
WWF.
Yeah, when we got to
Yeah.
WWF, and he came up to us and he was like, "Don't you think you guys owe me some money?" And he
But
was
he wasn't-
serious.
Yeah.
He was serious.
He was serious.
Oh wow.
And he was like, because he's all over the Stranglemania video.
Him and Terry Funk are like
Because they had
the two
that
big
death
ones,
match tournament over
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
right.
that's what it was. That's
Right.
what the video was.
And we called him Cactus Sack.
That was his name in it.
Yeah.
And
then Drunk Terry Flunk.
and so we broke him off some money right then and
Did
there.
you really?
Right on the spot. We're like, here you go. And he loved us. Ever since
And then we were cool after that.
like super cool. Yeah. Same thing with Terry Funk. We actually after like we paid Terry Funk for it, we were like he didn't even ask us. We were like, we gotta pay Terry Funk now, And we were with Sabu. We were actually on the road. Sabu
That
was
is
on the
so
road
great.
with us doing a concert tour. And we were in Texas, and he called Terry Funk. and we actually went to the Double Cross Ranch and chilled out and like hung out with Terry Funk and his wife. She made
His wife made us
cornbread and chili.
That's cool.
And we got to hang out on his like acres and stuff. Hung out in his milk barn. I don't smoke weed, but that night I was like, man, we're smoking with Terry Funk. And
Terry Funk offers you a joint, you take one. I did had Lemmy on my show last year, and he offered me a cigarette. I haven't smoked in probably 25 years, but when Lemmy offers you a cigarette, you smoke a cigarette. I smoked a cigarette with Lemmy. Tried not to cough in his face, right? But I mean, that shows the respect that you guys have, that you paid. Because
Terry Funk didn't want the money, though. He was like, no, I don't even need it. But we just kind of
what we did was we slipped it into a cookie jar or something.
Yeah, it was like some kind of like empty like pot, like flour, like some kind of pot or cookie jar or something.
And then when we were saying goodbye, we're hugging each other, we're saying goodbye, we're leaving, and we said, oh yeah, check the cookie pot, you know.
And then see ya.
Yeah, and then we left, you know.
But I mean, it's not really like you really owed the money anyways. It's not like it's their, I guess it's their match, but they didn't own, if anything, you owed like FMW guys money.
Right. Well, they never came after us. So that's
but I mean, that does show a lot of respect on your part, though.
Yeah, you know, especially we didn't want to, you know, we were making money off the video, you know what I mean? And it was doing really, it's still a classic to our fans.
And that's where we came out with a part 2, you know?
Yeah, we came out with we definitely.
So what other things happened that were kind of weird for you?
Oh man, we got so many adventures from being in wrestling.
Adventures,
you know? Yeah.
What were the differences between like WCW and WWF?
Oh man, the
huge
biggest
difference.
Oh man, WWF, we got no respect in the locker room.
Really?
No respect. I mean, we did from a couple of the boys, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like, because they didn't know our background, they just thought we were some rappers in there just wrestling, where everybody else has been busting ass their whole life to be wrestlers.
We didn't earn our way into WWE.
Exactly.
Right.
We didn't pay our wrestling dues.
Gotcha.
We didn't pay the wrestling dues to be in there. So, yeah. So, I mean, every match we had with the Headbangers, I mean, it was just the most stiffest matches you could
They beat our ass. The Headbangers.
Like, it was beyond stiff.
Did you know it when you're in there? Like,
yeah, no question.
Then we had a spot where they were on top of us, and we were supposed to flip them. We were in the aisleway fighting, and we were supposed to flip them over,
turn the tide
simultaneously, and then we would both be on top of them, pounding them. When it went time to flip them, they weren't budging. You know what I'm saying?
So we're both swinging on each other,
and then you know, we'd be in our dressing room. You know,
this is really why people didn't like us, because we needed a mirror for our paint. So like they'd always give us our own dressing room,
right?
And you know how that is.
Yeah.
The big shots got their own dressing room. You don't want to dress with the boys, you know.
Exactly.
And the first day our very first day at SummerSlam, we needed a mirror, right? So they put us in a dressing room with Steve Austin and Undertaker going over the finish. It was us two painting up, and right behind us on a bench is Undertaker and Austin going over their
That's
match.
the Highway to Hell famous main event match between the two of them.
And we're sitting in there painting up like, oh, shit.
You know?
Did they look at you at all, or wonder what you were doing in there?
Also,
they weren't. It wasn't too bad in WWE, but you know, we didn't know. You know,
we didn't know the ins and outs of the locker room in the big time until we got to like WCW, and then seeing how f***ed up it was in WWF. You know,
for us,
yeah, for us, yeah.
So
exactly.
so WCW was a little better.
It was way better. They treated us like
with
we
open
were,
arms,
you know, like we were one of the boys.
We had proved
what I mean?
ourselves. We were, we were already in WWF, and
what did you guys do in WCW?
We first we were in a crew called the Deadpool with Raven and Vampiro.
I gotta use the restroom right quick.
All right.
And then the Deadpool and
with Raven and Vampiro.
Yeah, then we actually got to be in a crew after Raven left. It was Vampiro, the Great Muda, and me and Shaggy.
Cool.
That was beyond cool.
Muda, yeah.
I got Muda's mist in my face.
Nice.
he went to miss somebody and they ducked, and I caught it in the face, you know, and I was like, yes. You know? And then we actually went to WCW twice. We did like a 2 or 3 month run. Then we left. We quit. Something happened. Yeah, we quit. And then I remember the Misfits kind of took our place.
Yeah, because they were there for a while too, right?
And they were with Vampiro. Then we came back to WCW, and this is when Vince Russo was there, and we did a second run in WCW. We had a blast in WCW. The first day we were there, though, I did a moonsault, and when we came back, Hugh Morris kicked over a garbage can and was screaming and bitching, And Eric
that's his move, right?
Yeah, Eric Bischoff came in and was like, "Don't do the moonsault again." He's the only big man that does the
Right,
moonsault.
big guy doing a moonsault.
And
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm so sorry, man," and I apologized to him and everything. We just didn't know those
The politics.
kind of things. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of politics in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't know if you just kind of came in there.
yeah, especially in WWE, we didn't know to shake everybody's hand and everything. You know what I mean? And we just, we f***ed up in WWE. We had
But
a lot
it's
of
almost
heat.
like you need like a rule book to understand what the the protocol is inside the dressing room. Like you said, like shaking everybody's hand. It's such a ridiculous thing, but if you don't do it,
When you get there and when you leave.
right, exactly. Even if you see somebody, like see him at the gym, hey.
Right.
See him later on the day in the dressing room. How's it going? See him later on at night at the restaurant. How's it going? It's like, come on, dude. How many times I have to shake your hand? But at first, especially in the 90s, that was so, like, if you didn't do it, it's the cardinal sin.
And the ginger wrestling shake.
Which I
Not
never
the actual
understood.
shake, the
I hated
ginger
that,
handshake.
My dad
That-
taught me.
our division, we do JCW, we forbid the ginger handshake.
Yeah.
Everybody shakes hands
Right.
like a
My
man.
dad taught me to shake hands like a man. I never bought that thing with the little kind of wimpy little handshake. Yeah, you had to learn those WWE locker room politics, man. Things are a lot different when you got your own promotion, the Juggalo Championship Wrestling. You guys can do what you want. We're going to get into that after we help out some T.I.J. listeners who just lost their starting quarterback this season. Oh, I feel so bad for the people that chose Tony Romo and their season-long fantasy teams. Feel bad for Chavo Guerrero. He's a huge Cowboys fan, and Tony is expected to miss the next 8 weeks of the season after fracturing his clavicle in Sunday's game. That's a tough break, literally. See what I did there? Hee-haw. And Green Bay running back Eddie Lacy, poor little Eddie, sprained his ankle on Sunday. He might be able to play this weekend, but what if he can't? What are you going to do? Listen, you don't have to worry about injuries if you're playing 1 week fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Okay, you can play 1 week fantasy football right now and win some instant cash by Sunday. If you use my promo code Y2J, you can play it for free. Playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com means no season-long commitments. You aren't stuck with the same players week after week. You don't have to worry about injuries or suspensions or bye weeks. No Tony Romo or Eddie Lacy problems. Not going to have to worry about it if you play DraftKings.com. All you got to worry about is how you're going to spend your winnings. All you got to worry about is how you're going to make your money and never give it up. And get this, DraftKings is crowning a new millionaire every week this season. What did you say? I said every week this season. Every single week. You could turn your love of football into a life-changing payday, man. You might never have to work again if things go your way with DraftKings.com. It's fantasy football on demand, just like Talk is Jericho. You play when you want, where you want, and with the players you want. Easy to play at DraftKings.com. You just pick your players, pile up the points, pick up your cash, go to the bank, and spend it. That's it. Hurry to DraftKings.com now. Use my promo code Y2J to play for free for a shot at $1 million in this week's $1 Million Maker event. Use my promo code Y2J to play for free for a shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Maker event. Once again, enter Y2J for free entry only at DraftKings.com. This ain't fantasy as usual. This ain't Fantasy Island. Mr. Rourke ain't going to help you, but I am. This is DraftKings. I'm Y2J. Welcome to the big time, baby. All right, so I mentioned I visited the Lotus Pod outside of Detroit City to talk to Insane Clown Posse's Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J. And because it's kind of hidden away in the middle of an industrial area, I couldn't use Uber when I did this one over the summer. I actually had to rent a car. Almost forgotten what that was like, but that was a one-off situation. Now that I'm back on the road for the Y2J WWE Fall Tour, I'm all about Uber once again. I'll tell you this. I'm still hearing the same thing from all the drivers I've had. They all love driving with Uber because they make such great money. Some of them have full-time gigs and drive with Uber to make a little cashola. Some are students and help drive with Uber in between classes, help pay for their educations. Some are comedians. Some are rock and rollers. Driving with Uber gives them freedom, so they got their nights to do their shows. No matter what the reason, all of them love the extra money they make. They all really love the flexible hours. They love being able to be their own boss. If you're looking to make some serious cash, you should sign up to drive with Uber now. Easy to get started. You need two things. Number one, a car. Number two, a license. You got those things, you can be a driver with Uber. If you need flexible work hours doing a job that'll actually pay you some money, you need to drive with Uber. If you have kids, you can work around their schedules. If
if you're from Canada. If you're a student, you can drive in between classes. If you're saving up for a vacation or wedding or whatever, drive with Uber. You just open the app whenever you want it. You drive for a few hours, you give a few rides, work as much or as little as you want, completely up to you. Now is the prime time to cash in driving with Uber. You will thank me. You'll say, hey, thanks, Chris. Thanks, Y2J. You'll thank me for telling you how to get paid every week. And who knows? I could be the one getting in your car when you drive with Uber. You never know you know where I'm going to be. You know what cities I'm going to be in. You just don't know if I'm going to be with Uber or not. I might be. So if you want to take that chance and you got a car and you got a license, put them both to work for you. Start earning that serious life changing money today. Go become a driver with Uber. All right, let's continue with ICP right here, right now. So, yeah, you guys have your own company, the Juggalo Championship Wrestling, and you've been doing this for a long time as well. Do you run shows a lot, or is this just based around the gathering of the Juggalos?
No, we run shows. We go on tour. We try to go on tour every year. A tour with JCW, and we run and on a regular basis we run Christmas, Halloween, and the Gathering, and that's every year. And then we also run, when we're home recording and we're going to be home for a while, we run monthly shows here in Detroit.
And then sometimes when we go on the road, we'll take it with us just for like early in the day, you know what I'm saying, for some, just for, because people like, tailgate and shit before the show and stuff, So, we'll have wrestling beforehand, like outside in the parking lot, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
So how is it being on the other side? How is it being a promoter?
It's cool.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, we
See, I don't do so much of that. Him and Kevin Gill do it. I commentate now.
Okay.
Which I love.
We're very story driven. We like to do stories, even if we're not filming and nobody knows the storylines, even if it's just for our own entertainment. We're very much into stories, like the characters development and I always said if I wasn't doing this for a living, doing ICP for a living, I would love to be a writer for WWE.
A writer, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the actual promoter, like, paying the guys. You got to deal with all the different guys. Is everyone pretty cool when they come work for you? Do you ever get any guys that are kind of you guys are known as good promoters?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We take care of our guys.
We make sure we pay them,
That's cool.
especially
Right.
like the indie guys who aren't used to getting paid. We actually make sure they get paid.
There's always food and drinks
Right.
in the dressing
Right,
room.
we buy
It's
beer
not like,
and catering and all that.
You guys
good
are
stuff.
bringing your rock and roll backstage knowledge to the wrestling world.
Yeah, pretty much,
Which we
yeah.
never have in wrestling.
Right.
People always go, can I come backstage? It's like there's nothing
Why?
to look at. There's
So
no
you can
backstage
sit in a
pass.
chair and
we don't have any. We don't have any chairs. We use a barricade around the ring, so it's standing room only, like a concert.
okay.
And we use the ring music and everything is really loud.
We got a live DJ on stage doing the ring music and everything.
Yeah, we have a DJ on stage, and we always have
do
a
production.
musical act.
We got the lights and we got a ramp and all
Another
that,
thing from rock and roll, yeah.
Yeah.
So who do you use like in the main events? Do you bring in
who's
like
some of the guys we
Yeah.
use?
Usually our guys in the main events, like the undercard, we'll bring people in, and once in a while we'll bring somebody in to
We've brung everybody.
But yeah,
in.
we have brought it, especially one gathering. It was just like a legend dream. It was
Right,
just
you've had a
like-
lot of guys there.
Oh my God.
Let's talk quickly about the Gathering. Now, the Gathering is kind of like your version of Lollapalooza.
Yeah,
for example.
it's a festival, a 4-day festival.
And then
every
also-
year.
Every
right,
year.
and for JCW, it's like our WrestleMania. We call it Bloody Mania.
So what do you have at the? First of all, how did you get the idea to do the Gathering of the Juggalos? Because I've heard about this for years and years and years.
Yeah, we just had our 16th.
Wow,
This
16.
just passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys did Woodstock '99, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just as a quick little segue, how was that first of all?
It was
was awesome.
the greatest shit ever, man.
Really?
Come on, picture doing Woodstock.
Yeah,
You know,
no
it's
kidding, right?
legendary, you
We're
know?
very, very underground, and I remember we had these scooters we were riding around at Woodstock, and I remember we went around the corner, and there was like a gate, and behind the gate was like press, and I just remember all the cameras going up, and we're not used to that, you know what I mean? We were just like, it was like paparazzi.
It was surreal, man.
Snapping pictures of us,
Yeah.
and it was just like, we haven't seen anything like that since we went to the Billboard Music Awards and walked the red carpet there. you
Oh,
know?
that was great. That was so great. We, like, everybody gets out, everybody's cheering and stuff. We get out our limo, boo!
we got
most
it
hated
was
band in the
great.
world.
Oh man, but we loved it. We fed
course.
off, and we're like, yeah.
You guys, if
know?
you guys have to be the heels, you'll
It
be the
was
heels.
super.
You understand
Yeah,
that,
that's
as
what
long
it
as they're
is.
making noise, right?
Right.
So who was headlining Woodstock that year?
Do you remember, or some of the bands?
It was Kid Rock, Limp Bizkit.
No, Kid Rock wasn't. No, that was before he was super huge. That was '99. That's when he was just.
Yeah, you're right. He was just getting started.
It was. I think Korn headlined one night.
Korn, Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit was like on top of the world.
So it was a heavier style of a lineup for that Woodstock. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, we went on right after the Roots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a good relationship with a lot of those other bands? Are they fans? Are they friends? Are you talking about Bizkit, or are you talking about Kid Rock, or
we're not friends with Kid Rock. We're friends with Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, we're friends with a lot of
Limp Bizkit
bands.
was on Fred Durst was on our last album as a guest. He did a guest.
And we were supposed to do a tour together. You know, it ended up like falling
It's the
through,
typical band guys. Hey, let's tour together, man.
Right.
Let's go on tour. Yeah, let's do it. Have a couple drinks, and then of course booking agents and managers and everyone else gets involved. But how was your reaction at Woodstock? I mean, you're talking about 200,000 people.
To our surprise,
awesome.
it was great.
Nice.
It was people as far as you could see.
People were singing the lyrics that we couldn't believe it.
Wow.
We were like, holy shit.
Your loyal
man.
fans turned up.
And it's crazy. You could see the sound wave of your voice. You'd be like, put your middle fingers in the air, and you could, as the sound traveled, you could see people doing it.
Waves of
You know what I'm
fingers
saying?
going up
So
at
like,
different
yeah,
times.
so like the beginning was
It
starting.
started at the front, and
So you could
see them all go.
like the sound of speed. you know?
Yeah.
It was crazy,
That
man.
is really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So did that kind of maybe influence you guys? We want to do our own festival every year, or was that
Actually, no, because that was the first year we had already been planning our festival, because that was in '99. The first gathering was in '99.
okay?
So we had been planning to do ours, since I think '98, because we put like I don't remember exactly how we worded
some
it or whatever.
cryptic message in our,
on our
CD
CDs
booklet.
saying something big's coming. We'll announce it once it's near. And then once it came near, we announced it's going to be and we didn't call it a festival then because we didn't think it'd turn into what it did today. It was at a convention center here in Novi.
Okay.
And we were just like, the gathering of the Juggalos, come peep it out. We're going to have, shows. We're going to have wrestling. We're going to have contests, all this and that.
All the bands that are like Juggalo orientated, you know what I mean?
Bands on your record label.
All the bands on our
bands
label.
Yeah.
And we had like all of our stage sets throughout the years set up so that people could go stand on the stage and
that's
take
cool.
pictures, and we had all our stages set up, and we had like there was all kind of things to do, at the first one, and now there's like it's like so much
24
to do.
hours nonstop.
You'd have to split into four
so
different
much stuff
people
to go.
to do it all.
It's
you
like
know what I mean?
Disneyland. You got to pick which ones you want to do and
Exactly.
worry about the
Yeah,
others.
you got to
can't
figure
do
out
it
what
all.
event you want to go see.
Which are some of the highlights from that? Because I know you've had big wrestling guys there, wrestlers there.
We've had as far as you can go with wrestling. You know what I mean. We've had
everybody shy of Hogan. He's the only one that wouldn't.
And we
do it.
tried hard for Hogan.
DJ,
We've had Flair not wrestling, but as a host on stage.
How was that?
He
was-
left because they threw shit at him.
he got hit.
Really?
But
Yeah.
he was really professional. He's like, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I got to leave. Usually people get pissed
Why
off.
were people throwing stuff?
Because people
crazy.
Just, you
35,
get
yeah.
the
But
bad
didn't-
apples and the bunch
Didn't
of
Tila Tequila get hit
She
with
got
a
real bad.
She
Yeah.
got fucked up, yeah.
She misspelled Juggalos or something
But
on her Twitter.
she egged it on though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She stayed up there and was talking shit and just snowball got worse and worse.
Who else? So you mentioned Flair. Who else have you had? Because you're talking about when you do your shows, you use local guys. But for the gathering of the Juggalos, it's a big thing. Like every year, someone I know will be there doing something.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, like we had a Legends show one year.
It was.
I can't even begin to name them all.
There's no way anybody's ever had a bigger Legends show, even at a convention, than we had at that.
I have never heard of a bigger Legends show than we had. Our Legends show was so big that there was only 2 singles matches on the card because there was so many guys that needed to be placed in a match that we had a battle royal. We had like a Royal Rumble thing. We take
it back to like Greg the Hammer versus Tito
team.
Santana dog collar match.
So they actually show up and do that?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
we had a steel cage. Greg the Hammer
cage,
versus
yeah.
Tito Santana.
Yeah.
We had oh my God, we had Austin Idol. We had Funk, Piper, Mick Foley doing commentary.
Like Hall and Nash, I think.
Hall
they
and
come in?
Nash,
Yeah.
Hall and Nash.
Sean Walton.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Waltman.
How was Piper for you guys?
He was cool. He's worked with us a couple times.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
came
God
and
bless
did
his soul.
comedy.
Good
You know
guy,
what I
man.
mean?
Yeah, it's a drag when he passed away.
Yeah, that sucks real
It
bad.
seems like gathering the Juggalos would be like he would love an atmosphere like that. Just do whatever you want, no censor.
he had a good time.
No rules.
They loved
Yeah.
him there. They loved him. They treated him real good, you know. We had a thing called flashlight wrestling, which is where it would go on at like 2 a.m, right?
Yeah.
And the only light on the ring would be flashlights
We
from
give,
the
we
fans.
give everybody flashlights.
Okay.
So everybody just be showing
Interesting.
Flashes.
So
So I
we
think
had,
we'd
like-
have like a flashlight in each corner. You know?
We had the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express in a flashlight match, you know? And they're like, in all my life, I've never seen anything like this. You know what I mean? And it gave this really cool illusion that they were like in a stadium because of all the little lights all around them, you know, in the dark, shining on them. It just looked like, I don't know what it looked like. It was just the most unusual.
And do your
craziest-
fans react to the matches? They're into it?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Not
What's up?
everybody has to go to wrestling. You
Oh,
can go
you can
see
go,
other
right,
stages.
right.
So the only ones that
And then
are
you
there
got,
are
but
wrestling
you know, you got your
fans.
super smart marks that are there too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
of course.
We had
Hot throwing
Jimmy
confetti
Snuka.
and,
Yeah, the
streamers and
streamers,
shit,
yeah.
you know?
Jimmy Snuka, Jake the Snake.
I mean, you pretty much name it. We've had
You guys
them.
are just like bringing in all of your heroes.
Yeah.
exactly.
That's exactly
And that's
right.
like how we do like with the main stage. Like in the past years, like everybody we'd always want to see, we'd bring into the gathering. And
As
have
far as
perform.
bands as well?
Yeah.
bands
Yeah.
and rappers.
Like
you know,
who?
Yeah,
Ice Cube,
Ice Cube was
the
one of
Ghetto
best.
Boys.
Yeah, Ghetto Boys reunited to come in.
So
and
this
do it.
this has a big reputation. If Ice Cube is going to show up to rap,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
ain't
I
no
mean, we got
this
Busta
ain't no
Rhymes.
bullshit
I mean,
thing.
we've
Yeah.
had-
He's been there twice.
George Parliament, pretty much. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, you know, we've had so many.
See,
people,
that's the
it's
cool thing
hard
about
to
when
even
you get to
remember.
a certain level. That's why I love doing this show. I get to go talk to people that I've never met that I always wanted to, like you guys, or go talk to my heroes. Like I had Paul Stanley on the show twice. You know, that gives me a chance to go and like, oh, who do I want to get? Like William Shatner. Let's try and get William Shatner. Shatner will do it. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Go sit
You're
across.
not pigeonholed to just wrestling.
Just
That's
do whatever
great.
I want.
Right.
Anybody I think is interesting, let's talk.
Right.
And same as you guys. You put on this massive festival that's got a reputation. You can bring in whoever you want because
Right.
you want to see them.
We do comedians, you know. We do comedians as well. You know what I'm saying? We've had a slew of comedians, and man, we just so much shit.
You know,
It's
we
like-
don't. There's not a lot of bands that are similar to Insane Clown Posse, so it's hard to fill 4 nights worth of bands
Right.
that we think Juggalos would want to see.
Do you guys play every night or just the last night?
just the last
Okay.
night?
Well,
But
we'll do Dark Lotus, which is a super group that we have
Which
with
is-
Twisted and Blaze, which is
and then we
right
also
there.
do
Gotcha.
another
And
group
then a
we
gangster
do,
group called the
which
Psychopathic
is
Riders.
the Riders,
We'll do
Psychopathic
sets with
Riders.
that, and then the last night we'll do we call it we'll do our set, and then we'll do a set called the Deadly Medley, which is everybody on Psychopathic goes out, does a couple songs, you know.
Nice.
So which is, and the craziest part about it is no sponsors. It's all us. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no
Self-contained,
Budweiser,
right.
no Red Bull, no Pepsi, nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's just
That's
us.
really, really amazing.
And we lose our ass every year.
Do you really?
we didn't lose our ass
No,
this
no, no.
year.
Last year we lost some, but we didn't actually lose our ass this year. You know what I'm saying? We still
So
got our
almost
underwear.
breaking
We got
even.
our underwear on this year.
We made a little bit of money this
Oh,
year.
you made money this year.
Yes,
How many
yes.
people are showing up for it?
Well, you know,
This
we
year
get
was a
around
lot.
10,000.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
we just switched locations last year. So last year it was decent, it was nice, but this year it was a lot more than last year. I mean, I still haven't heard the final count, but
Because it's not easy. Like Metallica had their own festival 2 years in a row. They called it Orion,
Yeah, they
and
did it
actually the
here
first
in
one,
Belle Isle, yeah.
the first and they lost so much money. It's like we're done. We're not doing it anymore. So
lost money,
Oh yeah,
Metallica?
the first one was in
It takes
Atlantic
time to build
City,
shit
and the
like
second
that,
was
too, though.
Detroit. It takes time to build it, but I think they were like, we're not doing this anymore. So for you guys to be building it to where you're actually making, even if it's $3,
Yeah.
to be
Which
breaking
is about what it was.
breaking even, that's $1.50 each.
And
That's a
tradi-
huge deal.
It is a tradition now.
Yeah.
It's like we can't stop doing it if we wanted to stop
Yeah.
doing it. We don't want to stop doing it, but if we did, we can't. You know what I'm saying? It gives the Juggalos. It's just giving back to the Juggalos.
It's a part of your brand name.
it's so awesome for Juggalos from all over the world be able to come in one spot, not be judged by nobody. Everybody's friends, even if they don't know each other. There's never no fights.
It's not easy for Juggalos. It's not easy to be a
there's
fan of
no
ICP.
fights.
Everybody hates ICP, so people walk around wearing, the Hatchet Man. Other people are like, you listen to those assholes,
Yeah.
Why? You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
It's not easy, but when they come together, and they're in a place like the Gathering, there's like an euphoria of awesomeness
Everybody's
going
cool
on.
and
It's
shit
in
with
the
each
air.
other.
You
You
know,
say there's no fights in the crowd because everyone's on the same wave.
Last year there was one fight. One person got stabbed, but that was between two food vendors.
Oh,
yeah, it had nothing
Straight
to
up.
do
So
with
that's an asterisk.
Right.
That doesn't count.
Exactly. It was between two food vendors battling for business.
But you guys, I mean, just listening to a couple of tunes today and on Malenko and on the new record as well. You guys you have a pretty positive message running through there.
Yeah.
That I hear. You know what I mean? There is that
we
sentiment.
touch on it sometimes,
Right.
You
It's
know?
a positivity, is almost a spiritual element to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I mean, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there. You know, it's in some records. It's the underlying basis of who we are. It's when we're speaking to juggalos, that's what we want to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When we're speaking to the people that have been with us for years, that's definitely what we want to say.
Right.
Is we want them to. I don't know how to put it because we're not holy rollers. We're
No, I'm not
No.
saying that, but I'm not saying. But there's a positive element. Even when you were just talking about how there's a big family. It's not easy to be a Juggalo fan, but when there's 10,000 of them gathered, there's no fights.
Right.
That's a positive vibe.
Yeah,
You know, people are
it's
coming
super
to
positive.
You know, that I think that's a pretty.
And, people have called us like even Christian rappers before because we had
really?
a song called "Miracles" that came out and it got like millions of hits on YouTube, and all of a sudden like people were like, "Oh, are they a Christian group?" And we're just like, we're the furthest thing from a Christian group you could possibly be. We got a kick out of it, you know what I'm saying? But
we believe in God.
yeah,
you know what I mean.
and we
But-
make it apparent, but
but we don't make gospel music.
No, yeah,
Right.
it's not like this is
We don't
Striper
preach,
or whatever.
preach.
yeah.
Right, exactly.
We're not-
we don't
we're
have
not
the command
preaching.
van,
But I was
you
just
know?
saying there was some elements of positivity on there, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
you know what
thank
I mean.
you. Yeah.
There's a great story as we start to wind down here. Like I said, reading the Wikipedia you got to tell me this Sharon Osbourne story.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's a great story.
Yeah, that bitch stole us this morning.
Yeah, she does.
So let me set the tone. So you guys had a band that was on tour with you that wasn't working out.
Cold Chamber.
Cold Chamber, who just played last week on the festival we were on. That got a great reaction then, but with you guys, your fans weren't buying it, right? So, and they were managed by
Sharon Osbourne. So we got to we were paying them a lot of money every night, you know, but they weren't drawing anybody. Not saying Cold Chamber can't draw people.
No.
They just weren't drawing people to our
to your show, right?
you
They've
know.
got a huge fan base
Yes,
on their own.
Right. So we were paying them a lot of money, and by the second show, we were realizing there was
They're not
only
bringing in their money's worth of people. Yeah.
Right.
So we said this isn't working out, you know, and so then we went and did an appearance on Howard Stern, which we do a lot of appearances on.
And that's hard to get on Howard.
Yeah, we used to be on there a lot.
He's our boy.
We haven't been on there for a while, but we used to be on there a
He
lot.
gets what you guys are doing.
Right.
He digs
and
it.
then, and then, he always does like his thing, bringing people in so we could, saying.
Mess with them or whatever.
Battle
Right,
them and
right,
fight
because he
them.
knows that we get hot quick over some shit. It
So-
makes for good radio.
For sure, right.
Sharon Osbourne called when we were on the Howard Stern show, and she was like, how dare you throw my band Cold Chamber off? You guys are, you guys aren't even going to be around next year, and we were like
Cold Chamber. You.
She was
Fuck are
like,
you? Nobody gives a
what? You know what I'll do to you in this industry? Do you
Really?
know? Yeah.
We're like, what
We're
can you
like,
do
what
to
can you do
us?
to us?
Right.
You
What, you
can't
gonna
throw
pull
us
us
off
off
MTV?
MTV?
We're not on MTV. You're
gonna
gonna
throw
throw
us
us
out
off
of
the
the-
radio? We're not on the
Yeah,
radio.
suck
You're
my
gonna kick us
dick.
off the gathering of the
Yeah.
Juggalos. It's our show.
Yeah, you better suck my dick or something, with all that.
So
she called up and she's giving you attitude about it.
yeah,
Right.
and then so we went off, and she was like, "I'm gonna, I'm on my way down there. I'm on my way to New York. I'm gonna something like that." So Howard asked us to come back the next morning, and she came on the show the next morning.
Wow.
And we had like a face off, and it was the same thing. We were battling.
Yeah, she's going off in a crumpet voice, you know what I'm saying? You could barely understand her. How dare you throw my band? We're just like, shut the f up, you know what I'm saying? Who the f are you? Get
We were
out of
going
here,
off
you know?
on her. We were going off on Ozzy, even though we don't have nothing against
Right.
Ozzy. We
It's
were just-
Ozzy, yeah.
You're like,
we were
get that
just-
dope fiend stick a stick in his back and prop him up on stage so you can get paid, bitch.
So
you
what was
know?
the bet that she made you, though?
And she actually got so pissed off, she threw her glasses at us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the old math teacher
I don't
getting
remember
mad
who
at
did
you.
it. One of us just took.
Right.
I
You
don't
better
remember. I
study
don't
your-
remember who it was, but one of us just put them on.
She
me stretch this out.
said you guys' next album won't even sell 50,000 copies, you know?
Okay.
And we said, we'll bet you right now $50,000
gold.
it will, you know?
Uh-huh.
And she said, all right, it's a bet. You know, this is live on the air, you know? And
we were like, matter of fact, we don't even want the money. We'll donate it to charity.
Right.
We don't want your money in our
We want you to
pocket.
donate the money.
We want you to pay
charity
it.
of
We'll
our
put it to
choice.
charity. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's $50,000 if you guys sell 50,000 albums.
units. Yeah.
Okay.
And then our next album went gold. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
and she, you know,
All you heard was
now the thing is when we go on Howard
Straight
Stern,
crickets.
we bring it up every time. We're like, have you talked to Sharon about our money? You know what I mean? And then he's just like kind of blows it off. You know what I mean?
Oh, so she never paid you.
She never paid us, you know, which is, you know, she's the one that made the bet.
Right.
She's the one that thought it up.
And had you not sold the records, you know she'd be tracking you guys down to get that money,
no
right?
question. She probably have her lawyers on it.
Yeah, but you know, she was, as you know, she's powerful in the music industry.
She's intimidating and powerful, yeah.
And
She
but
intimidated
but
us,
we
she
take
did.
such underground roads. She couldn't affect us in any way.
Well, that's the thing. When you guys do everything on your own, who can affect you? Right.
Right.
What's she going to do? Blackball you, like you said, from MTV and the radio and from all record companies.
Right.
We got our own record company. Got
We
our
do
own
everything
festival.
ourselves,
We're all
you know?
in-house.
Yeah.
Merchandise, everything, right?
We don't open for anybody. We've never opened for anybody. We've always headlined our own tours. We've never gone on tour and opened except for way back
Yeah,
in
the early
days. And you know, there's nothing she could do. And so many bands throughout the years, so many bands have been like, "Thank you for saying that. We wish
Right.
we could say that to her."
man,
You know,
thank you
it was so
much.
cool.
You're
to hear
one of
you
the
guys
you're
go
one of the
on.
few bands that can
Right.
because you're like you said, self-contained. You know.
And we're very fortunate because we put out a greatest hits, even though we don't have any hits. We put out a best of compilation about 5 or 6 years ago with a major label, and just doing that sucked. You know what I mean? Like we were arguing and battling, and
We actually came out with a record back in the day called Our Greatest Misses.
Right.
you know, and we put and just working with another label to do
Yeah.
that was a nightmare. You know what I mean?
Just having to compromise in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, we just don't want to ever work with anybody. Nobody understands what we're about.
Yeah,
how
no
to-
A&Rs, none of the presidents. They don't know how to market us. They don't know how to put us out. They don't know, you know.
Right.
They
So-
have no idea the formula they use for like radio hits and mainstream bands don't work for us.
But there's some really catchy stuff like on the new record when I was listening to OK or Get Clowned. I mean, that's really kind of mainstream hooks and beats and everything. I mean, there's obviously some cursing on there and stuff, but the hook is great.
Thanks.
The beat is great too.
Thanks.
So
Yeah, thank
that's
you.
what I like. I like the fact that this probably could be on the radio, whatever that means nowadays, which is probably almost nothing. Anyways, I'll tell you from a rock and roll standpoint, being on the radio is basically just to say we're on the radio. Does it really mean anything to album sales? Not really. Not in this day and age.
Plus, if
Depends
you go
about how
up,
much you get played.
Well,
The
yeah, exactly. How
royalties
much
come
money
in.
you're paying
Right.
to get played too.
if you go up, you got to go back down. you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
And we've always been right under the radar,
Right.
and it's
We've
good
always
like
been
that,
like-
you know, because we control our own destiny. Like we don't have to pray that hopefully radio will play our new single off our new album, or we're through.
Or
we
a
don't have
second
to,
single,
Right.
after our first hot one,
yeah, exactly.
we don't
We
have
have to
to
worry
Album
about it.
going.
Our albums are going to do as well as we're going to work them. You know, as we're going to stay out on the road and keep working them. You know,
Are you guys getting ready to go on the road for
yeah.
the tour this?
We're going out in October and in November.
How long are your tours? For a couple months?
Yeah.
Do you ever go overseas or just mostly in the States?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
We
States
just
too?
got back from Australia we did Australia.
that was almost 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, Christmas, it'll be 2 years.
Wow, damn.
Yeah, it goes by quick, man.
But
I think was it Christmas of 2013?
It was right before Christmas. Yeah,
What,
that's
2013?
2 years ago. Yeah,
yeah. We were over there too. We did
Yeah.
Steel Panther.
We
did
ain't
two or
been
three years
to
over
Europe in a grip, man. But yeah, Australia.
we've been to Europe a bunch of
But
times.
before
we
that, it
haven't
had been
there
like
in a
10
while.
years before we went to Australia. You know what I'm saying? And we came back. Everybody was like, oh.
So when you do a tour of the States, what kind of venues are you playing?
Small ones like 2,000, 1,000.
Like House of Blues type things,
Yeah,
or
it varies. You know what I'm saying? Some markets will actually do like 700. And the other markets will do like 5,000.
But that's-
and then
that's
other markets
good,
will do
man.
like 1,000. Other markets.
if you can draw an
Other
average of
market,
2,000 or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that's good business nowadays. you
Yeah,
know, which is great.
We're happy with it. It's always been the same. You know, we've always drawn the same amount.
Yeah,
It's
it's
never
worse
been a
is-
point where we drew more than we're drawing now.
Right.
And we consider that fortunate, you know.
And to us, it's cool because every show is still intimate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like, you could still see everybody.
We can still reach everybody with the Fago, you know, that we throw off the stage.
That's the soda that you spray people with.
Yeah, and we can make sure that, you know, to bombard everybody in the house. And if it was any bigger, it doesn't feel the same, you know.
We've done arenas, and it's just not the same feel.
Do you have like a little cannon for the Fago, or you just shoot it right out of the bottle?
We bring different things. We have
our
Fago
biggest
gun.
cannon is our finger.
Oh, over the top of the bottle.
Squirt
If you
it,
open a
popping it
warm
off.
2-liter Fago, stick your finger in the opening and hold it upside down.
shake it up,
It'll
bam.
start to gain pressure and pressure and pressure,
Yeah, I could-
especially if it's warm.
I can make a field goal from 100 yards with a
Now
2-liter.
explain what Fago is.
It's a Detroit soda.
Detroit soda
It's
pop.
real
It's
cheap.
the
It's-
cheap. Like every city has their cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap. We call it pop here. You know?
In Canada too.
But,
Pop.
yeah. So I mean,
It's a northern
it's
thing.
every city has their cheap pop. You know, and we grew up drinking Fago, just like pretty much everybody in Michigan. You know,
There's like 25 flavors of Fago.
So you guys are getting cheap pops on stage and cheap pops in the ring.
That's right.
nicely played.
Final couple questions. What's your favorite song that you play live for you, Violent J?
Damn.
Is there one that sticks out?
I like
So
I like
hard,
doing Night of the Chainsaw, which is one of our newer songs. I like doing it. It's a fun song to do live.
People get into it.
Yeah.
How about you, Shaggy?
You know, it's so hard because like to pick one because like
you said, you don't have the big hit.
Right.
Right.
But you know, it was the last tour we went on, or a tour before. We did a song that we never did on tour before called Fat Sweaty Betty.
Mm-hmm.
And for some, I just loved doing that song. Every night we did it, I loved it. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a challenge doing it, you know, like keeping the breath right and all that. But like and it didn't even really get over that well with the crowd, you know what I'm saying? But like I just really fucking love doing that.
It's
song.
a real rarity.
Yeah.
You know?
Some songs are just fun to sing, whether the crowd really goes nuts or not. As a singer, it's fun just to do it.
I love singing. We're rappers, but some of our songs have some
that boy
straight up
loves
singing.
singing.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I love singing. I love grabbing the mic. I use a mic stand.
Oh,
You know what I
nice.
mean? And I love singing.
What's your singing voice like?
Well, you know, I kind
Depends
of
upon
my
what-
favorite singer is Eddie Vedder. You know?
It depends
So-
upon how long in the tour.
Of course.
Right.
How many days in a row you've done? Yeah.
Right.
All right. Last question. What's your favorite match that you ever had?
favorite match.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough one.
Is there one that stands out that you had?
Yeah. My favorite match would be it was us and Terry Funk versus Jerry the King Lawler and Monty Brown.
Oh, in TNA?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
this isn't in TNA.
oh.
We did TNA.
Yeah, right.
But this was at the gathering.
Oh, okay.
Jerry King Lawler, Monty Brown, and I don't remember who the other guy
I don't
was,
remember
the third
the
guy.
match.
But it was a great
It's a
six-man
great one.
tag. Teaming with Terry Funk was awesome.
That's
I
crazy
remember
huge,
teaming with
right.
Terry Funk, but I don't remember the actual match.
How about you, Shag? You got one that stands up for
You know, I think one of our old school matches, wrestling for Malcolm, like a match me versus him. You know what I'm saying? We had this gimmick worked out where like
Is this Corporal Darrell Daniels?
no, this was Hector Hatchett versus Sewer Dweller. And and I got powerbombed like 3 times in a row, and then all of a sudden he grabbed the ref and started powerbombing him like 3 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? The old school one. I mean, every match. I mean, of course you got your match. Some matches that are the shits. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
of course.
But
Just like you have some shows that are the shits.
But
yeah.
one of the matches I really liked was it was a singles match, me versus Lenny for the cruiserweight.
Lenny Lane?
Lenny
Lane, yeah.
I think that was a good one. That between that and then I can't remember that
For the cruiserweight title, they had a great
That's
match.
what
cool.
was
Actually
what was
on
that? What was
TV?
that?
Yeah, in WCW.
Yeah, what was that division out in LA we used to do with Vamp?
Oh, XPW.
Yeah, XPW. It was me and Vamp versus 2 luchadors that didn't speak English.
It was Halloween and
Halloween and Damien 666. Yeah, so basically I'm just getting thrown around like a rag doll. You know what I'm saying? Just I knew what they're gonna do. Vamp was like interpreting or whatever.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But it was a pretty cool match. I like that.
Well,
man.
dudes, it's great talking to you, man. Much respect for all you've created, and like I said, it's really cool to finally get to meet you face to face after
Same
all
with you,
these
man.
years.
Same
Thank
with
you.
you.
The
Thank you
record-
for having us
Yeah,
on the
no
show,
doubt, man.
It's
No
a blast, man, and I'll have to come to a gathering one day and come check you guys out.
Yeah,
Hell
man.
yeah,
Gotta
man.
come
We'd love
work
to
it,
have
man.
your band. That would be awesome.
That would be killer. That'd be fun.
That'd be
We'd have a
super
good
For the
mix.
band and work a match.
We could do both. Yeah, absolutely, man. Killer guys.
We'll put you over.
Oh, well, I wouldn't have it any other way. You kidding me? A prima donna over here. Thanks to Insane Clown Posse, Shaggy, Too Dope, and Violent J. Had a tremendous time hanging out with the boys at the Lotus Pod, their studio and headquarters outside Detroit. They had their makeup on, they had the face paint on and everything. They were ready for battle. Great new album, The Marvelous Missing Link, the Outtakes album, dropping on October 2nd. You can also get The Missing Link Lost and The Missing Link Found albums. They got a little bit of a connection there, a little bit of a concept album. Both of them were released this year. All are available at iTunes and on Amazon. And hey, if you get them on Amazon, please use the Talk is Jericho links to do it. You can support ICP and T.I.J at the same time. Just go to Podcast One, click on the Support Our Show Sponsors banner at the top of the page, then hit the Talk is Jericho button. All my Amazon links are right there. Once again, pick up the new ICP album on October 2nd, The Marvelous Missing Link, the Outtakes. Pick up Book of Souls by Iron Maiden, Repentless by Slayer, Kiss Alive. Go get some music, man. Go listen to some music. Pick up some vinyl. Actually put the vinyl in your hands and put it down on the record. Put the needle on the record. Chicka, chicka, chicka. Put the needle on the record. Put the needle on the record. You can do that if you buy vinyl. Go do it, and do it all through my Talk is Jericho Amazon links. And don't forget the fall leg of ICP's Marvelous Missing Link tour kicks off November 2nd in Pittsburgh. I believe that's with POD. POD, man, Payable on Death. Good group of guys. That's a good bill. ICP, POD on T.I.J. Sounds good to me. Go check that out November 2nd starting in Pittsburgh.